Welcome back to Tennessee Mornings. Working long hours for no OT could be a thing of the past.
Joining us now with more, we have Jon Street from the Higgins firm. Thanks for coming in. A lot of people work OT and they don't get paid for it, but now there is a new court case that everyone's watching pretty closely to see if that's going to end that, right?
That's right. The United States Supreme Court just heard a case in which an individual who complained about not getting paid for time when he was what they call donning and doffing his uniform, putting on his work clothes. Because he would had to go back and forth to such a long way to get to the clock, to clock in and clock out, that he wasn't getting paid for this time. And the Supreme Court said, and for complaining for that, he was fired. And the Supreme Court said, because he complained about getting paid overtime, you can't fire him. That's against under the FLSA, you can't do that. It's under the retaliation provisions of the FLSA. You're not able to do that.
Okay, so that's something to think about.
So how much of a case did he really have? Because you actually physically go and clock in, and he was complaining that he couldn't get to the clock?
Well, he was complaining by the time he got to the clock, he'd already been at work, maybe 15 minutes by the time he got in his uniform and things like that. He wasn't getting paid for 15 minutes a day, and over a course
Which
of time.
Which then adds up, right?
Right, over a course of time. And if you're working 40 hours already on top of that, of course, that 15 minutes you're entitled to time and a half instead of just regular rate as well. So.
Well, and I think a lot of people, they're watching this not because they can't clock in, but because they are working some OT hours for whatever reason, and they're not being paid. So what should those individuals do?
Well, if you work more than 40 hours in any given week, that's a 5-day period, then you're entitled to receive 1.5 times your normal rate of pay.
Okay.
And a lot of times people are classified as salaried employees mistakenly. And they'll say, hey, we pay you a salary every week no matter how many hours you work. And they can't always do that. There's certain exceptions for which they can do that.
Okay.
And a lot of employers will say and it just doesn't apply. And you're entitled to that overtime. So, you need to contact an attorney who can look at your case and see, hey, if you are actually exempt from the overtime provisions, or if you're in fact owed money for the hours you spend working over 40.
All right, well, you might need to get in contact with somebody, and you can always call the Legal Eagles if you have more question about this. You can contact the Higgins firm. It's 1-800-705-2121, online at thehigginsfirm.com, or send your questions to us, Tennessee Mornings at fox17.com. Thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Good to see you, John. All right.
Let's see what's happening weather-wise. Here's Craig.